All right, boys, Happy Dad Hard Seltzer, now available in 7-Eleven. We are in a shit ton of 7-Elevens in New York, Colorado, Texas, Florida, and a bunch of others. To find a 7-Eleven near you or any store that carries Happy Dad, go to happydad.com/find. Pop in your zip code and it'll literally show a store near you that has Happy Dad. Sometimes it's hard to find, but it's in a lot of 7-Elevens. Oh shit, look, this one even has a sexy sign up front. That's dope. And all the 7-Elevens usually have the new fruit punch flavor too. If you haven't tried the new fruit punch, trust me. Oh look, this shit too. 7-Eleven's not playing. That's so fucking cool to see straight up. Yeah, boys, come to 7-Eleven, try the new fruit punch, go to happydad.com, find a store near you that has Happy Dad. Let's get into this pod. This is a killer pod. Like, we absolutely murdered it. OJ takes a stab at the podcast game in this, so it's really cool.
Gentlemen. Haven't done this in a while.
When was the last time you did this?
Long time. Long time. Obviously I get invites, everybody's asking. But.
Do you ever entertain those or no?
No.
Just no reason, don't care?
It's like, for what? I mean, it's if it's football, like I've done a couple with guys from Buffalo. So I guess so. I guess I have done it, not on TV, but they're mostly with writers or radio.
Right.
Well, yeah, we appreciate you coming.
I try to keep it in the sports world, Not that I mind. I stay away from last century.
Yeah.
Because I did a ton of those interviews back then and it made no difference. Nobody changes their mind. Nobody, So I don't mind talking about other stuff, like anything that happened this century.
100%. Well, it's a pretty crazy episode of the Full Send podcast. We got OJ Simpson. We're in Vegas. We appreciate you coming.
Yeah, no problem. It's home for me. I've been living in Vegas now for 6 years. I was living in Miami and I had planned to go back to Miami after my stint in camp. But it was like everybody here, every restaurant, it was like they were all apologizing to me.
Really?
For what this judge did to me.
Yeah.
In the most recent case. In the robbery case?
Yeah. But robbery, it was my stuff.
Yeah.
And I got it, California ruled it was my stuff and they gave it to me. So I do have, most people don't know that.
Yeah.
But it was my property that some friends who I thought were friends had somehow stolen or got their hands on and they were trying to sell it. And
memorabilia, right?
Yeah, memorabilia. It was my memorabilia.
Yeah.
I hate it when the media say, "Oh, it's memorabilia, guys." No, this was my stuff. My mother's wedding album. Pictures of my kids being born. All kind of stuff. Now, all of it wasn't in that room because, but the guy that they were trying to get to fence it made him send pictures, and he kept calling me. And he sent me pictures of what they had and said, Juice, look, I could sell this stuff for them and make money, but this is personal stuff. These guys shouldn't be doing this. And one thing led to another. And 9 years after,
you weren't even the one armed, right?
Pardon me?
You weren't even armed.
I wasn't armed at all.
Yeah.
And the guy who was armed had a license. He was a security guy. He was given his license by the state of Nevada.
So you get a 33-year sentencing, right?
Yeah.
How do you even react to that?
I always say, for what? What did I do?
People said that was the judge went harsh on you. Do you think that was too harsh of a sentence?
Harsh?
I think people would agree with that.
Everybody knew what that was about. So,
So what's your mindset when you hear that?
I'm a firm believer in the legal system. I think you could disagree with it, but either you're going to honor it or you're not going to honor it. I was convicted by a jury. I will question how in two trials a civil trial, and this trial, 24 jurors, not one was black, that decided my outcome. That always kind of bothered me, but I do believe in the legal system. So once I was convicted, when I got up to Lovelock, I told the DA, the warden, I said, I'm gonna be the best inmate you've ever had here. And I think when it came time for me to get paroled, he pretty much made it clear, even though it was another warden by then, but they all made it pretty clear that I honored the outcome. And, you can't say you're an American, you believe in the legal system. We see it all the time now.
Yeah.
You can't say that. And then when you don't like the outcome, you dog it, right? Obviously, I didn't like this outcome. I didn't think I did anything wrong. Both of the victims didn't think I did anything wrong. They thought I shouldn't have been the guy to go. But we all know what that was about.
Yeah.
But I was convicted by a jury.
Yeah.
So I felt it was important that I honored
that. So let's talk about those 9 years, though.
Okay.
You've never talked about jail too, right? Since you've been out?
No.
What was it like?
It was, prison is different than jail.
Yeah.
Jail is horrible, if you ask me, right? In the prison I was at, it was called Lovelock. It was a couple of unusual things. One, it was probably more whites than there were blacks and Hispanics combined. It was unusual in that probably 70% of the people there were there for some kind of sex crime. So I don't know what that says about you guys. but it was, guys would all come up and they juice, because most of the guys felt I shouldn't have been there. And they felt they would have punched the guys or done something with the guys. But I would tell them, look, man, I'm just going to do my time. I'm here to do my time. And I'm not asking you why you're here. I don't want to talk about why I'm here. I just want to do my time and go home. It was, for me, because early on, a couple of things that happened where I ended up had to mediate some stuff.
Going on with like other people in.
Well, in prison you got Serenials, you got Nathaniels, you got ADH, you got A-Dubs.
Yeah. What is this, like gangs?
Gangs, yeah. A-Dubs is Aaron Warriors, the Dubs is Warriors. Serenials are mostly Southern California guys, Hispanics, and Nathaniels are Northern California guys. We had a real nice athletic program there. And because I was coaching a team, and I loved a softball team.
You didn't play?
No.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, my knees are gone. I got a bad elbow. Only thing I do is swing a golf club. That's about it with me. But I coached these old guys because there was a team called the Braves, and they were Mexicans, Hispanic, but they were Mexicans. And they had won 3 years in a row, and they had been undefeated the previous 2 years. So I had this group of guys. It was like 5 white guys, 4 or 5 Hispanics, 4 or 5 black guys, and all kind of older guys, right? And I'm coaching them, and we made it to the championship against the Braves. And I got to tell you, it's one of the highlights of my life. I remember it was a 6th game. We got cheated out of the 6th game, and a couple of the guys on my team, the hell with these guys, I quit. I'd say, man, look, come on, guys. You're going to get to play a 7th game. Who's ever got to play in a 7th game?
How's like serious was this taken? Like very, very serious?
Yeah, it sounds like a pretty serious
it was.
baseball league.
Yeah. Well, the basketball too and soccer, but this is softball. And, I talked my guys and said, come on, man, we're going to play this game. And in the 7th inning of the 7th game, we won the game, and you would see this group of, hey, let's face it, murderers, rapists, robbers, running to the mound, jumping up and down like literally 12-year-olds. These guys were so happy. And it was an interesting day because the system, the jail system knew it. They brought the guys over from what they call high intensity, the protected guys. They brought that yard over and they stood at attention. So the entire prison was watching this game.
This is kind of crazy. Are you recruiting guys or?
No. It's just, they had this team and they asked me to coach them. And I just coached them. Yeah.
Nice. And what year do you think, how far into your sentence was this?
Maybe the third year.
Okay. So what else were you doing there to stay busy?
Well, my job was at the gym. When I first got there, they put you in protective custody. And I had to argue with the warden that put me on the main yard. I don't want to be in protective custody. And he would say, you don't you don't know these guys, OJ. These guys. I said, man, I didn't grow up in Brentwood. I didn't grow up in Brentwood. I probably know these guys as well as you know these guys. Now, all the guys knew me. Most of the guys were sports fans. And I was probably the most easily protected guy there. Yeah, nobody ever got out of line with me. I remember there was a buddy of mine there, and we call him Bellagio because he had robbed the Bellagio. I don't know if y'all remember with the
of course,
motorcycle helmet and all of that stuff. And he was playing for another team and coaching and playing. And we got into an argument at the third base line, right, over a play. And he's kind of yelling at me and I'm yelling at him. But while I'm yelling at him, I could see all of these brothers running across the yard, right? And I realized, hey, something's about to happen, right? So I had to say, guys, no, man, come on, man. We're just arguing about this play, right? We're not
they were coming to back you up?
Yeah. But my guys were the shot callers for the Serenos, shot callers for all the guys, we had a situation where we had this black guy, I guess. They had what they call a store. On store day, you could buy stuff, ramen noodles and stuff. A lot of guys got money, so they buy a lot of stuff, and then they sell it during the week. When I first got there, cigarettes was, the money, Then they stopped smoking after about 3 years, and then became stamps, became the thing. And this brother, we knew he stole this little Hispanic guy's store. And we knew it because that night you smell popcorn all over. Him and his guys, they got popcorn. So the next day I noticed that in one of the other units, outside of units, that a lot of the Hispanic guys were getting together. So it was apparent what was going to happen, right? My cellie was a guy named Smoke, and he was a shot caller. And I said, Smoke, man, get them together. And I said, look, guys, I will pay for everything and replace everything that this guy stole. But y'all can't take it beyond that because we're going to get locked down.
Yeah.
We'll be locked down for a month. We won't be playing softball. We'll be stuck in our rooms, And I think that, it wasn't what I was trying to do, but that put me in a position from that point on when there was things going on, I would be the guy that they would come to kind of mediate.
So nothing happened? Nothing happened in the end?
Nothing happened.
So you're like the godfather of
Well, I don't want to call myself the godfather, but most of the time what you end up doing is saying you and you go in the room and just the two of you, and they'll go in the room and they'll tat one another up and they come out and more than not, they'll shake hands and it's over.
Yeah.
Opposed to you get in it, then his friend helps him. The problem was sometimes, let's say you got a big black guy and you got a little Hispanic guy. One thing I'll tell you about the Hispanic guys, they will fight.
Yeah.
They will fight if they have to fight, right? So you couldn't let the two of them go. So you'd get the shot caller for that
Wait,
group.
so you'd make it an even fight?
Yeah, he would have to have his sergeant of arms of his home group take his guy.
So
in
you're
the
like the
room.
Godfather. You're like the coach.
No,
you're like the Dana
promoter.
White. You're like the Dana White of the
I
prison
was
too.
just the guy that they came to kind of mediate because I wasn't taking any sides.
Well, what was your relationship on the other side with like the warden and the guards?
Well, they all, I only had one problem with a guard in all the time I was there. I mean, both wardens that were there pretty much let me know that they thought I got a raw deal, But what am I going to do?
Yeah.
I was convicted. I'm here. And all I can do is try to be the best inmate I could be.
Do you think you got any like special treatment just based off your status and who you are?
No, there was no. I didn't have one write-up in all the time I was there. I was me. I do what I always do.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't have any write-ups. And you got guys who try to hustle. I got tons of mail. So what I would do on Sundays, I get this be a group of guys, and we go this one room, and I throw all the mail out, and they would take their portion of the mail because they were all looking to get, male buddies, girl male partners,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
What's a male girl partner?
No, I didn't. I probably just didn't word that right.
Oh,
They were looking for
Photos
male
of their girl?
partners, people to write them.
oh,
'Cause
okay.
most of these guys got nobody,
Right.
Yeah.
and so they would get the letters, and unfortunately, you would have a couple of guys would try to hustle me. And hustle the girls because a lot of the letters, if I could do anything for you, OJ, let me know, blah, blah, blah. And,
Girls were
they'd send
writing you
their
that?
pictures. Yeah.
And they send you pictures too?
yeah.
So you're getting nudes in jail.
I can't say nudes because the prison actually reads your mail. Yeah,
The warden takes a
but
look first.
No.
No,
He keeps some for himself.
Yeah, I didn't trust any of it.
Yeah.
You get catfish like the Notre Dame guy did.
Monte Teo.
I never believed any of the pictures, even though I have since met one of the girls that had written me and had sent me pictures, and she's everything that.
Did any
you
of
know, she
these
says she
any of
was.
these girls come and visit you?
I wouldn't have taken them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have accepted the visit.
Anybody like come and visit you? You were surprised or like?
No, all my friends came, family and friends. The ones I expected. Yeah, they all came.
Was there anything scary? Any scary moments in jail that you witnessed? Like not necessarily involving you, but just anything you kind of witnessed, like fights or crazy shit?
You've seen fights. I don't know how to word this, but we call Lovelock Prisonland.
Prisonland?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it in this state, you got Ely and High Desert, where you can get shivved at any time. It wasn't the case at Lovelock. What was interesting about Lovelock is that it probably had more lifers than any other prison. And that would make you naturally think that it would be super dangerous.
Yeah, that's what.
But it wasn't, because these guys knew this is the best they ever going to have it. The lady who cooked for us, she tried real hard to make sure the food was good. We had so much freedom. I mean, during the course of the day, you're out of your cell or out of your unit far more than you're in it. We had basketball league, senior basketball league, soccer league, softball league, volleyball league. We even had an Olympics during the course of the year. So these guys knew that this is the best they're going to ever have.
Why? Yeah, I was going to say, with all these serious convictions, why is it like it there? Why is it like this?
I'm sorry?
Like with it, you said it's all murderers, rapists, all these serious, like.
Well, mostly sex crimes. Well,
but it seems like
look,
it's.
I can just tell you what we thought was because it was mostly white, but that.
But it's so much freedom.
I don't want to go there, but that's what we thought.
Yeah.
But it was an experience.
And that was
Let's
that
put it
jail in
way.
Vegas?
No, it's in the middle of nowhere.
In Nevada or Cali?
Nevada.
Okay.
It's up outside of Reno.
Everyone's probably committed some sort of sex crime while they've been in Nevada, though, right?
Yeah, I mean that's got to be common here.
I mean, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in Nevada. It's hard to get to, and it's as I said, because of so many sex crimes, it's almost the only prison that these sex abusers could go to. I give you one example. This guy, he got dumped. He was up for parole, and he got dumped. 3-year dump, I think. And he was so mad that he just told the warden he wants out. He wants to go down the high desert because his family all lives in Vegas. And it literally take you about 9 hours crisscrossing the state, getting up to where Lovelock is. And so they kind of gave him a warning, but he still said no, he wanted to come to high desert to be closer so his family can visit. And literally a month later, he was back, and they had tatted him up. They had tatted him up pretty good down in high desert.
Damn.
Because in prison, they know what you did.
Mhm.
You know, there's that in prison telegraph or whatever. They know what you did. In a lot of prisons, you can't. You can't be a rapist, especially with kids and stuff. So yeah.
I mean, did that make you feel like out of place being in that kind of situation with all these people?
Well, I felt out of place. I was out of place to begin with, but you try not to ask guys. Me personally, I don't want to ask guys. Some of them because you saw them on TV.
Mhm.
And I took a course. You take these various courses, and there's this one course called Victim Impact, to where you have to write to your victim, and you get up in front of everybody, and you have to say what you would say to your victim. It was a hard class for me because I thought I was a victim.
Yeah.
But this one guy, we call him Big Ten, which he didn't like, but I don't know. This is cable. What is this?
YouTube.
Okay, fuck him. It was our attitude, because in that class he said the boy was a Big Ten. Yeah, but he was a Big Ten. And at that point, I walked out of the class. I mean, and the lady who was teaching the class said that, so you can't do that. You got to stay in there. I said, I can't hear this guy.
Yeah.
I can't listen to this guy.
Yeah.
And so you do see situations. You've seen them on TV or you've seen them somewhere, and you just, hey man, stay away from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. What other things did you do in there to like keep busy? Is there any other hobbies you picked up?
I worked at the gym, so I started my day. I normally didn't go to breakfast. I would buy milk and cereal, and you can buy ice, and you had ice chest, so your milk will last 2 or 3 days. So I'd go straight to the gym. I worked in the gym with about 12, 15 guys, and we get the gym ready, and we worked that's what we did. And then we managed a lot of the games. I would have to clean all the weight, spray it all down and everything. And that's essentially was my job. Then by the time lunch came around, you can do pretty much what you want. The yard was always open. It's interesting. There was this guy, he was from Texas. And evidently he had something to do with the A-dubs, maybe the original
Mhm.
A-dubs. And he was a Texan, and I don't know why he was there, but I guess they were getting him away from Texas, And A-dubs are the Aryan warriors, and they're the probably most militant of the Aryan groups. Well, he never really spoke to me. I didn't speak to him. But, I'd be cleaning this stuff. He'd come up, pump some iron. It was pretty cool. Then one day he said to me, out of the blue, after about a year, he said, "Hey, man, I don't know how you do it." I just looked at him. He says, I had an argument with my old lady that you didn't get beat up here. And she wouldn't believe me because she says it was on TV and it's in the media.
That you were getting beat up?
Yeah, the National Enquirer and TMZ had so many stories about me, right? It's funny because there was about 15 banks of phones on the yard, 15 phones. And if I told you how many times when I'm walking the yard, guys would say, hey, man, tell my old lady nobody beat you up. Hey, man, guys be arguing with the old ladies because they would be writing all these crazy stories, about me almost getting shivved, and I'm crying on the yard because these guys were attacking me. At one point, I had a gay gang that protected me. I mean, it's just crazy. But anyway, the guy said to me, he says, I don't know how you do it. I said, man, I just don't pay any attention to it.
You personally never had any confrontations in there?
No, I mean, I had an argument or two over some stupid thing, but never where it reached a point where there could be a confrontation. And I think most of the guys knew that it wouldn't be good for them to have a confrontation with me.
For sure.
Why?
Because so many friends, so many of the shot callers were my guys.
Did that 9 years going into that? When did you think that you'd be eligible for parole? Because it was supposed to be 33, right?
I was at, I think, with 2.5, 3 years when California ruled it was my property. So when California ruled it was my property and gave it to me, I figured I was coming home.
But going in, you thought you were going in for 33 years, right?
No, I knew it was 9 to 33.
Okay.
So hope springs eternal. It was just, who knew?
Right.
I was shocked that I was there. As I sit here with you today, I don't get how I can go to a room that I was invited to by this resale guy. I can walk in the room and see my personal property. I yelled at the guys. I didn't threaten them. Both of the guys made it clear. OJ didn't threaten us.
And how did they get your personal property?
Moving.
Okay.
I moved from California to Miami. At one point when we were in Miami, every time I used to do interviews, I would get Elway, Marino, or whatever to sign a ball for my son. And when we were moving, we took all the air out of the balls and put them in a trunk. When we got to Florida, my son would say, Dad, all the balls are gone, But what am I going to do? I mean, I'm trying to raise 2 kids. I've just left California. I've moved to Florida. And I asked this one guy who they claim they got it from. I'm not going to say his name. I don't get on anybody anymore. I asked him, man, what happened to all the stuff, man? There's a whole lot of stuff missing. And he said, OJ, your sister had those Mexicans, at the warehouse doing that. And they, what do I know? What am I going to say at this point? My only thing on my mind was I'm trying to raise 2 kids.
Yeah.
So, hey, it's gone.
Right.
But now, these years later, when Resale sends me pictures of the stuff that they got and gives me an idea of who did it, you got to understand, these guys are guys that I did book reports with their kids. One guy, the main guy that was in that room when his mother was dying from cancer, she's a big fan of mine. So about once a week, I'd call her and sing, "The Very Thought of You," and she'd just laugh, and I would call her and sing to her. I was a friend, and you're stealing from me and selling my property. Of course I was pissed off.
Yeah.
But hey.
Did that 9 years in jail, like when you look back on it, does it feel like a blur, or like does it feel like a whole chapter?
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't feel like it was a long time. I mean, when you're doing the same thing every day, over and over and over,
goes by
it
fast.
All becomes the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got a question. Can I pop one of these?
Of course.
Yeah. What do you think?
Okay. Yeah.
You ever tried a seltzer before?
Say what?
Have you ever tried a seltzer? So it's not a beer, right?
Yeah.
It's a hard seltzer.
It's pretty good. But anyway, these are guys who were my friends.
Yeah.
And, it
Something
it just hurt. I mean, it really did hurt me.
Well, I mean, from what we've heard, it sounds like everyone kind of agrees the sentencing was unfair.
Yeah.
But something that keeps sticking with me is how you talk about the softball championship was so big.
Oh, it was such a highlight.
You want to go back and let's talk about USC
Okay.
and just how, I mean, obviously that had to be bigger than the championship.
Yeah. Winning the national championship my first year. When I came to USC as a second semester sophomore, it was February when I got there, and I ran track, and we won the national championship indoor and outdoor, and I was on the record-breaking 4x100 relay team. We shattered the Olympic record and the world record, so we won.
This is before you played football?
Yeah, this is before football season. So I was a track guy.
Yeah.
So we had won both indoor and outdoor track championships, and for me that was terrific. And then football, we ended up winning the national championship in football, which was just at that point maybe the highlight of my career.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching old highlights of you at USC, and it's just like it's pretty incredible to watch.
Yeah, it's insane.
Just like all the runs, and like you're literally just like a fucking snake. Just like it's
crazy.
Well,
we beat UCLA for what essentially was a national championship because they
who was quarterback at UCLA?
Gary Beeben.
Yeah, okay.
And he won. He beat me out for the Heisman that year. And I was a fan of his. He was from Northern California. I'm a Northern California boy at San Francisco, and I cheer for all Northern California guys. Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Edelman, Northern California guys. I cheer for all of them. But anyway, we won the national championship, and then there's some IU guys in the room.
Yeah.
We played IU in the Rose Bowl that year, my first year, and the Vegas line was that I would outscore their team. And I did have 2 touchdowns, and they only had 6 points.
This was in the Rose Bowl?
In the Rose Bowl, yeah.
Whoa.
What was it like going to USC?
It was unbelievable. I never thought I could go to a school like USC. I only went to college we finished high school football December, I got into December, and my best friends all kind of quit school.
Mm-hmm.
Al Cowlings, driving the Bronco, Ronnie Patterson, but my mother wouldn't let me quit school. So that spring, Ronnie Patterson didn't wait. They had the Two Friends program. And me and my buddy Al, we were going to go in together. They say you can serve together if you go in together back then. Ronnie went in, went to camp, went to Vietnam, and by June, I think, he was back at Veteran Hospital minus the leg, and he was screwed up. I mean, he was totally screwed up. And we went and saw him, and I left the Veteran Hospital and went straight to City College because if you were in college, you didn't get drafted.
Yeah.
So I went straight to City College, tried to find the coach to see. I knew it was late to get registered, but I was all city, so I figured he can get me in. And they got hold of him at home, and he got me in City College. And as they say, the rest is kind of history.
Well, so you win the Heisman, then you go number 1 in the draft.
Yeah.
Something I don't understand is your first coach with the Bills, right?
Oh yeah, John Roberts.
Everyone knows you're the guy that gets the ball, you can run, and he tries to turn you into a wide receiver.
Yeah, he's got.
Why is that not talked about, or how do you react to that when you're
were you pissed because you have a shitty coach and you're stuck in Buffalo?
Yeah, and Buffalo's worst team in football. That's how they got the first pick. That's how they got me.
Yeah.
No, this is John Roberts. I don't know what it was. He was the Raider coach, and I guess the Raiders they may have gone to the Super Bowl and lost. I believe that's the second Super Bowl. In any event, he quit the Raiders because Al Davis got all of.
Yeah.
So I think once he got to Buffalo, he wanted it to be about him, and all they were talking about is me, right? So me and a guy named Paul McGuire, a punter, we used to talk about which one of us that he hated the most, Paul or I, and he just had it in for me.
Why?
You know,
Why do you think?
I have absolutely no idea. Now you got to understand, the Raiders, they weren't a halfback running team. All their great running backs were fullbacks, and they were a passing team. And that's the team he wanted to develop there.
Well, then why do you draft a running back first overall?
Well, I don't think he drafted me. I think it was Ralph Wilson that drafted me.
Did you talk to his wife a little too long at like the draft party or something? Or like,
No, it was apparent that I just wasn't his cup of tea, you know. And so I went 2 or 3 years there in Buffalo. Just
did you ever think, I got to go to this guy and say, "Give me the ball"? Or
well, you say that all the time,
yeah,
you know. But you know,
did it ever make you want to quit football?
It was a whole different. It was a whole It was a whole different. It's a whole different thing then. You know, you couldn't. I was ready to quit after 3 years, and Rune Arledge was going to put me on Monday Night Football.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually did the original tour with Keith Jackson and Howard Cosell for Monday Night Football. I was working for ABC.
Yeah.
ABC hired me before the Bills hired me. So I was working for them. And I was going to say, hey, quit, I'll do Monday Night Football.
Do you remember what your bag was back then when you got selected first overall? Your signing bonus and all that?
It was nothing.
Nothing?
It was 50,000 or something like that. But you got to understand, back then it was a different day, different time. Guys weren't making that much money.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like they do now.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you had.
By the time I retired, I was making like twice as much.
Sure.
Then I guess it would have been Joe Namath, twice as much as the next guy.
Right. So then you have that breakout year. You break Jim Brown's record.
Yeah.
And how did that change your life off the field?
Well, the year before, when I was going to retire, a guy named Harrigan, who was the head of PR, he came to LA and he told me, "Oh, Jay, look, we're going to bring Lou Saban back." And I know Lou Saban was a good coach, especially for a running back. So the year before, even though we weren't a good team, I led the league in rushing.
Oh, shit.
I led the league in rushing. Then he brought in some linemen, and he told all of the wide receivers to put cages on their helmets because we're putting our money on this guy, pointing at me, right? And that became the 2,000-yard season.
Damn.
Now, I never thought about 2,000 yards. Reggie McKenzie did. He was talking about it all the time. As the year went on, obviously, to break Jim Brown's, was something because I knew Jim. I used to play a little basketball up at his house. I used to play chess. If anybody knows Jim he's this guy.
I mean, who was winning?
Pardon me?
Were you beating him in one-on-one or chess?
Not in basketball. I couldn't beat him one-on-one. I beat him the first time I played him in chess, and maybe the worst thing I ever did because then you can't quit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You got to keep playing, right? But years ago when I was a kid, I ran in the gym after a 49er game, and me and my buddies at an ice cream shop outside of Kezar Stadium, and I told them I was going to break all his records, right? They told that story. So as the year went on that year, I'm looking at, I can see that I got a chance of getting Jim, right? I'm not thinking 2,000 yards. Only Reggie McKenzie was thinking that, but all those last 2 games, I had 2 huge games.
Mm-hmm.
And
what was it like living in Buffalo? You hated it, right?
It was different, especially then. It was.
Do you ever cross up into Canada? I'm from Toronto.
Oh,
did you ever cross the border or no?
Oh yeah, all the time.
You went to Toronto?
Yeah, I went to
What'd
Toronto.
you do there? Anything?
The Underground Railroad was a restaurant and stuff.
Because Toronto's like a lot better than Buffalo.
Yeah, back then certainly.
Well, even now,
yeah,
Toronto's pretty fire.
Buffalo's gotten all right. Buffalo's a little better than it once was. No, we went over to Toronto. We went over to Toronto.
What'd you do
We
there?
went to Hamilton. Went there and went out to clubs and stuff. We had a couple of guys that when we cut them, they got picked up by the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Okay.
Back then, a Canadian team could have like 3 Americans
Oh
on the
shit!
team.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They had to limit that to make it fair.
Yeah, back then. Yeah, I don't know. It might be like that now. I'm not 100%
Probably.
sure.
We compete
CFL
in some
suck.
sports, and like it's
Yeah.
it's
I don't
not
even think
fair.
Canadians watch the
American
CFL,
versus
man.
Canadian. Something I found interesting is when you broke that record, you gave every lineman like a bracelet, right?
Yeah.
And you put engraved the total team rushing.
Yeah, because we broke the league record for team rushing also.
Yeah, but you didn't include anything about yourself. So where did you develop that? Like, this isn't just about me; it's about everybody.
It's like a big leadership thing too.
Football is a team thing. I always liked team sports. When I was a young kid, I would come to Vegas and work for my uncle, and he was a trainer, and he kept trying to get me to box, and I was boxing this big Mexican guy. Everywhere I hit him hurt me.
Mhm.
And he kept telling me to stop and fight. And I wasn't into that.
Yeah.
So I grew up in San Francisco. They have a great parks and recreation system. I was a baseball player, and that's what I wanted to be, Willie Mays. He was my hero. And Ernie Banks is my cousin. So it was all about, baseball, and it was all about team sports. I've always been a team sports guy.
Got it. And isn't that after that season, all the endorsements start coming in?
Yeah, well, actually, endorsements came in. I played in a Rose Bowl against Ohio State, and they beat us. I flew the next day to Hawaii, and the following day played in a Hula Bowl, because that's the way the week kind of fell. I got back to LA, and the guy I was going to use as an agent said, Chevrolet, John DeLorean was running Chevrolet, and that Chevrolet made us an offer. And RC Colas made us an offer. And Loon Arledge at ABC wants to talk to us. So I literally was signing those deals like within a month of the Rose Bowl. What I remember most about it is Jess Hill, who's the USC athletic director, called me in and told me they were taking me off scholarship.
Really?
Because I was now going to make money, and you can't make money and be on scholarship. And of course, my argument was I finished my football obligation.
Yeah. This is while you're at USC, right?
Yeah, at USC. I said, I've finished my football obligation. I don't get it. But
Did any like boosters ever approach you?
boosters?
Yeah, like USC.
No, I met some. Obviously I met boosters, and back then you sell your tickets and stuff like that because you got X amount of tickets.
Yeah.
The first money I got was when I came back from Hawaii. There was an envelope from Bob Hope,
Mm-hmm.
and it was $5,000 in the envelope because I had done a Bob Hope special, and that was the first money of any consequence I'd ever had in my life.
Got it.
I saw at that time too. That's when the racism thing was going on and all the Olympic athletes were like kind of taking a stand.
Yeah, that was tough because I knew all of those guys. In junior college, Tommy Smith, Lee Evans, John Carlos, these are all guys I ran against, all through junior college and even at USC. And I remember Harry Edwards was always pushing guys to take a stand. And I think a lot of us my stand was I wanted to get my mother a house. I wanted to get my mother out of the projects, get her a house, right? That was the stand that I was taking.
I think that stuff still goes on today though, right? There's a lot of pressure with athletes to kind of...
A lot of pressure, yeah.
So what made you not want to like be part of that at that time?
Well, it wasn't that I didn't want to be part of it. I mean, I I went to events, supporting it, and I certainly supported Lee Evans. I'm sorry, Tommy Smith and John Carlos. But even they'll tell you that many of the people who pushed them a little bit into that sort of disappeared. When it was over and when they really needed some help, they sort of disappeared. But there was all kind of guys. People forget how many people were in the Olympics.
Sure.
People forget George Foreman walked around with the American flag. So it wasn't like everybody there was there fighting the racial thing.
I mean, it is crazy because you think about it. You pretty much were the first like African American athlete you're the face of Chevrolet.
Yeah.
You got RC Cola, Hertz. So did you think of that as like, I'm changing the game, or was it just more like,
well, I felt that I couldn't screw up.
Uh-huh.
I definitely felt that way, that I couldn't get in trouble. You can't screw up. You can't get in trouble. I was well aware of how many people were looking at me.
Yeah. What do you think it was about your character that made them so drawn to you?
I like people.
Yeah.
I think I got a good sense of humor. I like people.
So then at that point,
and I didn't take myself too seriously.
Yeah.
Were you always like that growing up? Like, did you always have that natural likability?
Yeah, that's what all my coaches used to always say. I don't know where you were going from here, but it's like we were talking about the Donald, right, today. And I always said that's what I always liked about the Donald that I knew. Not the president, but the guy I knew, said he had a great sense of humor. He could laugh at himself. He told great stories.
How did you two link?
Just around, in New York. I lived in New York doing NFL Live, and we kind of had the same tastes in ladies.
And, what was that taste at the time?
Oh, come on.
Models,
models, because he knew, Eileen Ford. I knew Eileen Ford. I had dated Maud Adams for a while, one of her top models, and we found ourselves at a lot of those type of events.
So you and Trump are kind of like wingmen sometimes.
Well, I would say we were.
That would be a pretty deadly duo.
We
Trump
were,
and OJ.
Yeah,
don't
especially
use
that
that
time.
word.
At that time, yeah.
We were what I would call. We were very friendly acquaintances. And I got to tell you, I liked him. I liked him a lot. I thought he was really, really funny when I was in camp. And he was first running for president. And, a lot of guys were saying he was a racist. I said, well, I never really saw him as a racist. I saw him as an elitist. He was a guy that if you got money and you're doing well, he was cool with you no matter what color you were, right? So that's sort of how I saw him. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about President Donald Trump.
Sure.
I'm just talking about this guy that I knew back then.
You were a groomsman at his wedding, right?
Pardon me?
Were you in his wedding?
Yes, I was at his wedding. And
you were a
I kind of
groomsman?
sat with not really. I kind of sat with the family though. Yeah.
Wow.
Do you remember what year that was?
That would have been like 94. I
Okay.
think. Yeah.
Who was at that wedding? Was it Clinton? Was Hillary Clinton there?
I believe so.
Who all that must have been star-studded.
Yeah. My date was Tawny Katane and Howard was there, Stern. I was on the board of directors of Infinity, so in a way I was sort of like Howard's, the guy above Howard Stern's guy.
Wow.
I ain't gonna say boss, but
Damn.
Howard was there, and Howard was always in love with Tawny. It was kind of funny because he was talking to Tawny when I walked up. God bless her soul. And he introduced Tawny and I. And we got into this soulful kiss, her and I. And he's looking at us. He said, "Oh, you guys know each other."
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's funny. He's a legend.
Yeah.
You like him, Howard?
Yeah. He was Howard was Howard.
What do you think? And when did you get drawn to this? Because you obviously became an actor, but what drew you to that Hollywood lifestyle, and
it was
who kind of brought you in
USC.
there?
Yeah. George Lucas was my TA in Cinema 190.
Mm-hmm.
In the summer, I worked at the studios, as an extra, and they get you bumps by reading a line and stuff. Even to this day, you would see UFC guys getting more TV gigs, even in sports, than anybody, you know. So that's what started it. I was I was holding out for the Bills, and they were doing this show called Medical Center with Chad Everett, and they asked me would I be interested in playing this character. And hey, hell, why not, right? So they made me read for some CBS people, and I read. They said, okay, you can play the character. Turned out they made it. It was supposed to be the 7th episode. They ended up making it the premiere episode of the show. And I got good reviews. And then when I came back from Buffalo, a neighbor of mine was Annette Funicello and Jack Gilardi. And our kids played. So Jack and I would, when I walked the neighborhood, sometimes we'd talk. And we went out to dinner once, and Irwin Allen was casting The Towering Inferno. And we're at a place called Pips. And they were having a problem because they wanted Steve McQueen to be this architect. Steve McQueen didn't want to be the architect. He wanted to be the fireman, you know, which they worked out. And Jack said to Irwin, what about him? You got a part for him? Oh, he said, yeah, I think I got just a part for him.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting in that show. And then every off season when I came home, there was a movie. I'd go to Africa, Rome. It was nice, you know.
I wanted to ask about Trump too. You said you liked him as a friend, but not as a president. What did you not like about him as a president?
You know, when I say I like a lot of his politics, a lot of stuff. You know, I didn't like this whole wall thing because I thought it was going to be a waste of money. There's something that's divisive, and I didn't know him to be that divisive kind of guy. But I don't think anybody could really argue the fact that he's been kind of divisive.
He's definitely divisive, yeah.
Yeah, I honestly
even if you like
felt,
him, I like him, but yeah, he's definitely divisive.
Yeah,
who cheats more, you or Trump? Because people, I've heard you guys both cheat.
I can't say I ever saw him cheat. I can't say that.
Would he say the same about
you? I played
you?
with Clinton, and the thing about Clinton was anytime there was a really bad shot, one of the guys would say, "Oh, Mr. President, I was moving in your shot. Oh, Mr. President, I was talking." And then he'd drop a ball and he hit another shot.
We had Trump on the podcast too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. And so I got to play golf with him too. And they kind of do the same thing with him too, like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's him cheating, but if he'll hit a ball like it's fucking in the woods, and then someone will drive up and drop one and be like, "I found it, Mr. President."
Well, he wasn't Mr. President when I was playing.
Right.
See, so
he got a hole in one before that, right?
Yeah, he got a hole in one with the last two. I think it was either.
You witnessed it?
Yeah.
You witnessed Trump get a hole in one?
Yeah.
Was it just you two, or was it a foursome?
There was other people. I think it was a Dan Marino golf tournament.
Okay.
In is that Fort Lauderdale or Hollywood, wherever that golf course? No, I saw him get a hole in one.
Holy shit.
That's
pretty.
No, he's. I mean, he can play golf.
He could play.
He can play golf.
What's your handicap like? Like, what do you shoot?
Well, before I got this sciatic problem with my back, I was playing 2 and 8. Right now, I have a clue. I got some issues right now.
You still play a lot of golf right now, or?
Yeah, no. Before this back, I play Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. I play Wednesdays and Saturdays now until I can straighten up this back issue that I have.
What is like your day-to-day or week-to-week kind of like life like right now? What are you doing on like a daily basis?
Mondays, it's kickback day for me. I mean, I'll play golf sometimes on Mondays. Tuesday is a total pay bills kickback. Wednesday, I play golf in a group. It's about 40 or 50 golfers. And on Wednesday, we'll probably have 15 or 20 of the guys. Thursday I'm on the couch. I'm a couch potato. I go out Thursday nights.
Where?
Well, you're actually in one of my spots.
This is a spot?
Yeah. This is one of my spots.
What's so fire about this spot?
That one, the food's good. The women are gorgeous. Good music. and it's an upscale place. It's nice,
Nice.
you know.
And then Friday, the weekend rolls around.
Friday, I could be a bum on Fridays. Saturday, I play golf and I go out Saturday night, and I go to a cigar bar later on and have a cigar. But normally I'm in bed by midnight. Yeah, I don't stay up late.
Nice.
I'm a pretty staid life. I don't do a whole hell of a lot.
I think people wonder, like, how do you like make like a living now? Like, are you living off old money? Or are you like still making new money? Like, how do you kind of make a living?
Pensions. Yeah.
What's that mean?
I live on my pension.
Pension.
Yeah. You know, you always got people after you for this, or after you for that, and no, basically pensions. I mean, look, I could go out and do 100 things that people are always trying to get me to do, but my life now is. You know, my mother told me that you reach a point in life where the only thing that really matters are your kids. Well, I'm at that point where where my kids and my grandkids are the only things that really matters. And fortunately, my son is here in Vegas with my granddaughter, and my other son and my daughter, they're here a lot. And my daughter, I got a daughter lives in Florida. She's actually out here now. So, you know, I'm fortunate. I have 4 terrific kids.
When you're out and about, do people ever like heckle you, ever say anything negative towards you?
Really blue moon. I couldn't even tell you the last time. You know, no, I don't get heckled.
Let's go back to that Hollywood stuff, because I know you have some crazy untold Hollywood stories. Some parties for sure.
Yeah.
Anything that you were
told? You were like the man in Hollywood, and
no, it was a good time. You know, I got invited to everything.
Yeah.
Back then, and Hollywood is Hollywood. You know.
Were you ever like shocked or starstruck by anybody that was a fan of you?
Well, you know, I did a movie with Sophia Loren. And that just blew me away, right? Mm-hmm. And her and I got to be good friends. Nothing romantic, nothing at all. But just she liked my personality, and I would go to their house in Rome and play poker with her and Marcello Mastroianni. It was really something. And then when I came back from football, my agent told me that Sophia's doing another movie and she wants you in it. So then I did a second movie with her. And I would say she was probably the most gracious and just terrific person I'd ever met in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. You know, she was great.
Well, what about going off that? How did you and Kardashian become friends?
Bob's brother was a cheerleader, song guy. Bob too at FC. They both went to FC before me. And I actually met them playing tennis. I was a big tennis player.
Tennis is
we
fun.
Just picked that up.
Been running tennis a lot.
Yeah.
So fun.
I've been.
How was your game?
I thought I was the best celebrity tennis player anywhere back then.
But you were actually good, or?
I was very good. You know, I won. At the Dinah Shore thing that we did with Nabisco, I played with the Rocket. Me and the Rocket played against the Armitage brothers and beat them. I won in Monte Carlo with Prince Renier, but that was kind of easy because they wouldn't hit the ball hard at him.
So you would play with Kardashian a lot? So
we played a lot, and we played at Harry Rothschild's house. And then Harry, let me see if I can get this straight in my head. Harry went through a divorce, and Elvis Presley went through a divorce. So Elvis's wife ended up buying Rothschild's house, right? And that's where we would play. That's before I got my court and before Bob them got their court. And she would let us continue to play on the golf course. What nobody seemed to know is that Bob Kardashian and Priscilla, they went out for about a year. actually dated for about
I'm
a
just
year.
like,
That's Elvis Presley's wife.
Yeah, Priscilla Presley. You know.
I'm picturing Kris like coming to the tennis court in a tight skirt, giving you guys waters.
No. When I met Kris, I was
And then
actually
Bob goes to the bathroom. You guys kind of chat a little bit on the court.
No. When we met Kris, Bob came home from New York and he said, and you got to understand, he was a total bachelor. Him and his brother, Bob and Tom, total bachelors. And Bob came home from a trip in New York once and said, I think I met the girl I'm a married. She's an airline stewardess. And
This is while he's with Kris, right?
Kris who?
Jenner.
All right, let's back up here.
Yeah. I thought we were talking about Kardashian, no?
We're talking Kardashian.
Yeah.
So Kardashian's coming back from a trip to New York.
Got it.
A business
Meets the
trip.
airline stewardess.
He meets an airline stewardess who is Kris.
Mm.
You know, and he tells me he's met the girl he's going to marry. And it was Kris.
Wow.
And I think we went out that night. All of us went out that night. And hey, he ended up marrying Kris.
How'd she look back then?
But see, I don't, you people have their types, right? I always thought Kris was a cute girl. She was really nice. But I was dating.
You know the
supermodels.
You know the rumor.
Yeah, but the rumor ain't true. It's not even nowhere close to being true. No, it's just that I've never been attracted to her. And I never suspected she was ever attracted to me. So, that was never a case.
Because some people think like you might be Khloe Kardashian's real dad.
No, I'm not.
Because like Kim's like 5'5", Kourtney's like 5'3", and then Khloe's like
I've
6'2".
seen the family say something about a cook or something, but I don't know. I can't say that. I know. I have no.
There's a
thing.
video of Khloe that just came out. She throws a football 40 yards. You seen that?
She threw it further than I can.
No, I'm just kidding. She didn't do that.
Yeah. No, Kris, I don't know. Kris, when her and Bob started having trouble, she would call me and Nicole. And I don't, we were friends, and I don't think you share stuff when people are going through a friend stage. But, and I've never really spoke about this publicly.
It's been so long, it's like you might as well.
We were in Palm Springs at the Nabisco sports big, it used to be Dinosaur and it's Nabisco. And it's all these athletes, that's there from all these different sports. And we're on the team Nabisco. And Kris now is with Bruce. And I played golf. I was with Paula Barbieri, and I had my 2 young kids with me. And I had come back to play golf, and I sat at the pool, and Kris came over and asked me if I was going to play golf tomorrow. And if I did, could I invite Bruce? Because Bruce is shy, and Bruce, he'll never go and ask these guys, could you please invite him to play golf? I said, well, look, Paula's got to do a shoot up at Joshua Tree. So I really don't think I'm gonna play golf tomorrow. All right, next day come, breakfast, I'm at the pool, I'm reading a book, my kids are in the pool, the girls are in the pool, and Kris comes over, and she's with one of the Garvey girls, and says, OJ, are you gonna play today? And I said, no, I got the kids here, and boom. And she says, OJ, we're here. My kids knew Kris and Bob. They knew him real well, She says, my kids say, we're here. We'll watch. Sydney, she's got a phone. A key to the room. If they get tired, they'll go to the room. When we eat, we'll all come on. Bruce would love to play golf with you. Come on, Well, I'm not the hardest guy in the world talking to playing golf, right? And
yeah.
It's right. Our kids.
Well, he's also
good.
An Olympic athlete at that time, right?
Yeah, but Bruce is a different egg, as we now know.
Yeah.
So anyway, I go play golf with him. Get back, everything is cool, everything is great. A couple of years later, I'm fighting for custody of my kids, and Kris is on. I don't know if it was Katie Couric or The View. And the conversation is me fighting for custody and what kind of father am I? And they asked her, and she said, well, all I can tell you is we're in Palm Springs once, and he took off and played golf and left his kids by themselves at the pool.
Oh, shit.
I think it's the last time anybody other than a family member dying or something that I literally cried. I mean, I cried. I thought I'd always been a great friend to Kris. I always liked her. You know, I always thought she was a good person. And at that time, I think they were just building the Kardashian name, and it hurt.
Yeah.
It hurts now.
Sure.
I'm sitting there, I'm getting emotional now. It hurts, especially when it's your kids. These are my children, and you
Leave them
begged me to take this guy to go play golf. you know.
Well, we didn't get to play with Bruce. We played with Caitlin. But how was
Caitlin.
Bruce's game?
Bruce was a good athlete.
Caitlin's game
Caitlin's
is pretty
pretty
good
good.
too.
Caitlin was good.
Did he play
Better than me, a lot better than you.
Yeah.
Like you
with
can't even
T-Box?
fucking.
That's what
She actually tried to play Reds. I put a stop to it though.
You had to.
I said, "Get the fuck back to the Blues."
I'm telling you, I used to be a member of Sherwood. I actually at a few times took him to Sherwood to play. I was a member of Sherwood.
Well, how was his game?
And all my buddies that still were at Sherwood, one day called me and they were pissed that, you know, this is supposed to be one of the world's great athletes, and he's trying to play the women's tees.
No.
Yeah. The
No.
Reds. Yeah.
And she can like bomb or drive her too.
He's saying back then that Bruce was trying to
Caitlin's-
play the Reds, though.
No, he wasn't Bruce. This is when he
It's Caitlin.
became Caitlin.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's money
Wasn't a
games,
bad
you might as well.
golfer.
If it's money games, you might as well try to at least see if they'll. You know.
No, he doesn't play money games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
The problem with playing with him for me was he's a little boring. Very smart guy, but he didn't gamble. He didn't talk shit.
Yeah.
You know, my group of guys, we're from the Muhammad Ali School of Golf, right? We're talking crap, but not while you're swinging, but we're having a good time.
Talking about
Did you get a lot of action? Like, would you gamble on there a lot?
Say what?
Would you gamble on the course a lot?
Back then, yeah.
Any like big games with anybody?
Pardon me?
Like anybody crazy? Any big games?
No, we played a pretty healthy game. Yeah.
Were there ever any other athletes or like actors that would come try and challenge you?
Well, golf is not where they challenge you. You play golf, you got a handicap. I was at, the Riviera Country Club was my country club, and
Right.
Sherwood for that matter. So, and at the Riviera, you had a pretty standard bet, $50 7 ways, automatic presses and, sands, sandies, greenies. So you had a pretty standard betting.
Were you close with the Kardashian like kids, like Kim? And...
I love them. I love them all, and I still do to this day. They were. Bob raised them as good Christian girls, and to my knowledge, look, I've seen one episode of the Kardashians, and that was years ago. Not because I don't want to watch the Kardashians. I just don't watch reality shows. I've never watched Hard Knocks. I've never seen an episode of Hard Knocks or anything. But the one episode I saw was years ago, something about a pole in the bedroom or something. And I think it had more to do. With the Jenner girls than the Kardashian girls. But the Kardashian girls are, to me, they've always been sweet, terrific girls. I loved them then, I love them now, and I think Bob would be incredibly proud of them.
How close were you with them? Like, was it like an uncle like type relationship?
Yeah, we were family, we took vacations together, and stuff. It's funny because the TMZ guy once on TV, I was watching, he said, Jay said that him and Bruce weren't, and that they didn't take, I'd never taken a vacation with Bruce Jenner. I'd taken many with Bob Kardashian and with Kris. I was going to Cabo once with my kids and my girl and Nicole. And the day before we left, Kris called and said, I hear you guys are going to Cabo and you rented a house. Do you mind giving me the name of the people you rented the house for? And no, I gave her the name. And next day or something, they showed up there. Well, we know each other. We're at the beach, staying in the same neighborhood. So but we weren't on vacation together.
Right.
That's just the way it sort of turned out because
Was that hard for you to see like Kris go from a good friend of yours to Bruce? Like, did it?
No, that didn't bother me. I was actually at the Kennedy compound when Bruce said somebody wants to speak to you on the phone, and I picked up the phone and it was Kris, and that's the first time I totally realized that Bob and Kris were really splitting up. I thought they were the greatest couple. They were so good together that it's kind of hurt to see them split.
That's crazy that she started as an airline stewardess. I didn't know that.
No, I never heard that either.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what she started as. That's what she was doing. When Bob
probably started
met her.
even lower a bit, right?
It's kind of a fantasy.
I don't know, but she was a flight attendant when Bob met her.
And then she just came up over like kind of like getting in that circle.
Got to give her credit. She's
like a boss
done a hell of
now,
a thing. She's done a hell of a thing. You got to admire it that she's done a hell of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Are you following any of what Kanye's been saying?
You can't help it.
It's everywhere, right?
Are you active on like social media?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I try to keep it light and airy and mostly about fantasy football.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Have you seen that Elon's taken over Twitter?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I sent a message on Twitter to him that
You
maybe
DM'd Elon?
maybe I could finally, now that Mr. Musk, maybe I could finally get a check. Why they would never give me the check. I could
you don't have a blue check?
And I've been doing it. I had some days I have millions of and I only do visual, but for some reason they wouldn't give me a check.
They won't verify you?
They not verified me. And it made no sense to me. And the only thing I could think was because there's like 10, 11, 12 other Simpsons, maybe they want to keep all of them there, all those phony accounts semi-alive. I don't know. Yeah,
it's odd.
Which we know is a problem. How I couldn't get a check didn't make any
Doesn't
sense
make any
to me.
sense. So yeah, with the San Francisco 49ers,
Yeah.
just about that, how that felt for you being from close.
Yeah, I wish I could have been. I wish I could have been the juice.
Yeah.
When I got there, I wasn't the juice. I'd had knee surgery, and they were just getting ready to turn it around. My last year there was Bill Walsh's first year there and Joe Montana's first year there.
Oh shit!
It was apparent that they were going to be good.
Yeah.
But I had my knees.
I was going to ask how many like serious injuries do you think you took from the NFL? Concussions, like, do you think you had like CTE was a factor?
Well, look, back then you got knocked out or you got dinged. They take you to the sideline, they pop that pneumonia capsule. They said, "What's your name?" OJ. "He's good to go, coach. He's good to go."
Right. That's crazy. It's all it took. Especially back then, they didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
If you could walk, you're in the game.
Yeah. It was a different game.
It seems like from what I've seen, like football, you did love football, but there was a point. Yeah. It seemed like even with the Bills, you're just like, yo, I don't even care about this anymore.
Well, no, I always loved it with the Bills, but I wanted to be traded. I went up and did the Olympics and didn't go to training camp one year because they let a couple of key guys, Ahmad Rashad and Earl Edwards, go. And I said, it's been 5-6 years I'm here. And we finally got a decent team.
Yeah.
Now you're letting some of these key guys go. But at that time, Mr. Wilson, the owner of the Bills, he was not the sportsman he became.
Okay.
Yeah. He became, I think because he got older, probably had all the money he needed. By the time Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas and them all got there, he had become a sportsman and was really into trying to win. When I was there, that was not the case. It was about money.
Yeah. The reason I ask is because you were broadcasting, TV commercials, acting, football. So like, what was your goal? Is it like money driven, or you were just like, You want
Well,
to
I
do a
think
little bit of everything?
everything is, you want to get compensated for whatever it is. Like everybody, I wish I could have been on a team that would give me an opportunity to play for a Super Bowl, to make it to the Super Bowl. And I was in a situation where that just was not the case. And in '76, it was Carol Rosebloom, the owner of the Rams. I guess you would call it, nowadays, it would be tampering, had pulled me aside in Bel Air and said, if you say this and you say this, I can get you on the Rams, right?
Oh, shit.
So I did. I said those things, and I thought I can go to the Rams, and the Rams is going to get the Bills, uh, 2 or 3 starters, a couple of draft choices, and that could possibly help the Bills get better, right? But Ralph Wilson, them wouldn't do the trade. So I'm stuck. I ended up going back to Buffalo and doing exactly what I had predicted. I will probably lead the league in rushing. We will probably lead the league in attendance, which we did. But what are we going to win? 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
So that was my career in Buffalo.
And what did you think when you switched up from Buffalo to acting? How much like leverage do you think you had just being who you were and like getting these roles immediately, or did you think like, hey, I'm this actor that can just do this stuff?
No, I became good friends almost immediately with Strasberg. We were doing a movie together in Rome. When we weren't working, he and I would walk to bookstores all around Rome. And he talked to me about acting. He would tell me, what you do is right, because you just put yourself as the character. You don't try to make them different. You just do it as you would do it. You're doing the right thing, he would tell me, right? He then moved to Brentwood. Mm-hmm. He moved to Brentwood, and he had 2 kids the same age as my 2 kids, even though he was 70 or 80 or something. So I would go there on some weekends. He would have De Niro and these guys over. I'm trying to think of Shelley Winters and these people who did acting teaching as well. So just being around that, I picked up a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Did you get close with any of like big actors? Like De Niro, you said?
Steve McQueen and I got to be really good friends. He actually showed up at my last football game.
Wow.
He and I got to be pretty good friends.
Even the Brentwood, like, because everyone knows, like, even today, I think a lot of athletes live there. So was the neighborhood crazy? Like, were there a lot of other notable
when I was
people?
there, I think I was the only black guy in Brentwood.
Yeah.
When I first moved to Brentwood.
What was that like for you?
I was oblivious to it. I really was. I remember talking with my brother years ago, and I told him I think it was a handicap for him if we walked into a room, he would know exactly how many black people are in the room. If I walked in that same room, I'd be oblivious to it. And him and I, we debated about that for a while, and I thought that was a handicap for him.
Was anybody like in the neighborhood? Everyone was probably pretty welcoming though when you go in there.
Brentwood's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I never had anything remotely like what happened to LeBron James, that stuff they wrote on his gate.
What was that?
Some racial stuff they
put
on his gate. Y'all don't remember that?
No, I don't
know. But look it up. At that Brentwood house, were you having parties there or anything?
Yeah, parties, picnics.
Was it like invite only or anybody could pull up?
No, it's invites. I gave a big 4th of July softball game down the hill and picnic at my house. Huge one every year. And somebody was showing me a picture of us with all the Kardashians and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Lynn Swann and me, and just loaded with athletes and and people that I gave it every year. every 4th of July. And then I would, that night or tomorrow morning, move my family to our Laguna house for the rest of the summer.
Just to, like, get away from all the craziness.
Well, July in Laguna is great.
Yeah.
Did we talk about Kanye or did we just?
Yeah,
Well,
we
you
did.
brought him
I mean, you
up.
could you could comment on it if you want.
What do you think
I
about
have
what
nothing
he's?
to comment on Kanye. Kanye has to deal with what Kanye has to deal with, and I haven't heard the kids say bad things about him. Maybe I just missed it. As I said, I've always felt that my mother told me that your kids are the most important thing in your life. If one of my kids ever said or talked about me the way Herschel Walker's son talked about him, I would consider my life a failure.
Yeah.
I would. That would be unbearable to me. That if my kids had that, lack of respect for me.
And do you have any relationship now with any of the Kardashians, or?
Not really. I mean, my kids talk to them and they'd send messages, tell them I love them, I just don't see them. I don't hang out wherever they hang out.
What would you say now your goals are in life?
Stay alive, to live a little longer, to live a little longer, to see my, to see my grandkids grow, to see them start school, hopefully maybe get a few more grandkids.
What life do you want to see, like, your kids live?
I like what my kids have done. My kids are good kids. I think everybody will tell you that. You never see them in the media.
Mm-hmm.
They live their lives. They're good people. People have come up to me and said, "Oh, I met your son and blah blah blah. He's such a great kid." And well, they're not such kids anymore, but I think I did a hell of a job. I knew before Judy and Lou left us, they commended me on the job I had done, raising the 2 young kids by myself.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And they both have done well. They both live a good life.
What do you think you miss most about, like, the prime Juice era?
Miss? I don't have I got great friends now, and I know they stand by me through thick and thin, right? But I do miss having those big picnics and, everybody coming over for picnics and 4th of July.
Mm-hmm.
I do miss that. I do miss. I miss that.
It's like throwing big parties and stuff.
Throwing big parties like that. Yeah.
Is it tough to lose some of your, like, former friends that you probably don't talk to anymore?
Well, my friends, I'm gonna tell you, my true friends stayed my true friends. I live here, and I lived in Miami, so I don't see them as much as I once did. But my true good friends pretty much stayed my true good friends. I can only really think of 2 guys that I was a little disappointed that we've, kind of lost.
Who's that?
Touch. You wouldn't know him. So, but outside of that, all of my good friends have stayed my good friends.
If there's any other, like, Hollywood stories you got, anything cool?
A lot of
Untold.
stories you can't tell.
I know you got
them all.
something.
Yeah. What's like? Is there one crazy, like, Hollywood party story or anything that you feel comfortable telling?
I wouldn't really feel comfortable telling. Let me just put it this way. I went to a party. Now, you got to understand, this is like the 80s. And I was an athlete. I just retired. And when I just retired, I was doing what everybody did. I had been one of these workout guys, and I tried to be the fittest athlete in the world.
Were you single at the time, or were you when you retired? Can't remember.
I wasn't married.
Okay.
I wasn't married. I don't know if I was single, but I wasn't married.
Not married.
All I know is I went to this party, and I mean, you wouldn't believe the celebrity was there. Some of them are big celebrities now. And in every room, on every table, was this big thing of cocaine.
Just a plate?
Plates of it everywhere.
And it was in a
every
house or
room
like a
was
club?
at a house, you know.
Why- you can't drop any names. Just curious.
Well, I could
Doesn't matter at this point.
Let's put it. I could drop Red Fox as a name. Let me put it that way. But this party was, mixed. Everybody, red is gone. And I remember being in shock that some of the people that I had watched on TV for so many years. But I will tell you this: in like especially in Florida, in 81, 82. If anybody in Hollywood tells you they weren't doing cocaine, they're lying. They're lying. But then I think what happened was freebasing and all of that started destroying lives. And that whole thing changed.
It's so crazy now because I think about it. And everyone, if you're an actor or athlete, you're so monitored, like off the field or not on set. But back then, it seems like you could do whatever the fuck you want as long as you showed up.
Yeah, because now there's phones at every party.
Yeah,
you had it made. You could do kind of whatever you wanted. Not everyone had a camera in their pocket.
Pretty straight shooter, but
in the off season,
I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. In the off season, you
hit a couple zaps, right?
Stop it.
Yeah. No one's judging.
As I told you, if anybody told you they didn't, they're lying.
Okay.
It's funny when I've noticed on 2 occasions in recent months where I thought it was passé and gone, and it's not.
Yeah.
Maybe not as prevalent as it once was. I think it's all ecstasy now.
Now it's like I think people like pop pills and shit.
Yeah. Now, the scare's all
you
crazy.
know, right? Really?
No, I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. You had some like 6 a.m. bonding moments, maybe.
Who, me?
Yeah. With the plates out, no?
Stop it.
Sun's coming up. You hear the birds start chirping.
Yeah. Well, I've had a few of them. I walked out of a club in Miami, right downtown Miami. I walked out of a club and I thought I was going to die.
Well, what do you mean by that?
Well, I thought it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. And it was like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Like 10 a.m.?
And the sun hit me when I walked out the door and I thought I was dead.
What year was that?
A bunch of years ago. Yeah. Back in the 80s.
What do you think's the most different thing that, if you had to compare the 80s to now, what do you think's the most biggest difference?
80s, we were still coming out of it, a little bit of the 70s and the 60s. And I think in general, people were a little more sincere then, a little straighter then. Now it's definitely the me generation.
Yeah.
It seems like everything is about me. And I'm a guy who every morning scroll all the news channels, all the cable news channels, CNN, so it's a Fox. So I try to get a balance of what everybody is saying. And I do that in sports too, watch the sports things. But it's just I never felt the damn hate, it seemed like. That
you never felt the what?
The hate that people have given now.
So the hate was stronger back then?
No, now.
Now it's stronger?
Yeah. Now it's like.
Well, does any part of you think you were like kind of like blinded to it because of your celeb status like back then? And it was more existent maybe?
I don't know. If you watch the news now, I mean, look, I watch Fox, right? I say, boy, if I was in Russia, I would show Fox every day.
Yeah.
Because everybody's a crook.
Sure.
Everybody's in government is a crook. Everything is bad about America. I don't get it.
What do you think about the Brittany Griner situation?
Well, look, they weren't going to trade for this guy. What's his name?
Victor Bout?
Wellen.
Oh, okay.
They weren't going to trade for Wellen. I wondered why Donald didn't try to trade back then, because he seemed like he had a relationship with Putin, but Donald didn't try to trade for Wellen. I found out some things about Wellen that was kind of disillusioning.
What do you mean by that?
Such as?
Well, you guys look it up. I'm not here trying to dog
no, you're good.
a prisoner.
Yeah.
But I play golf. Let me put it this way: I play golf with 2 retired Marines, and you know, it has more to do with the Marine stuff.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm glad she got out,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there's got to be somebody that they can trade and get well
Whalen.
out.
Yeah.
Now I totally understand why Germany is not trading,
Yeah.
because that's who they want. This guy that's in Germany, but I guess he's a murderer, and the Germans aren't going to, use him.
Mhm. Have you always been like so interested in politics and all that?
Yeah.
When did that
I
start?
well, I met way back when. I met Nixon, and who incidentally really knew sports, uh, uh, and even J. Edgar Hoover, even though that wouldn't be politics. But
Yeah.
I just there was a time years ago when both parties were trying to recruit Pat Hayden and me, in California, to talk about politics. And I thought, well, maybe I should pay a little more attention to politics just in case, right? But last thing in the world I want is to get in, to be really involved in politics. I've seen it change a few people that not for the better.
A lot of people say that people get like caught up in Hollywood and stuff like that. Would you say that that's something that happened to you or no?
What do you mean by caught up in
Just
Hollywood?
like caught up in the lifestyle and just kind of.
I've always my Hollywood was always my house. I went to some Hollywood parties, but being an athlete, I was always caught up with being in shape, playing tennis with my buddies and my friends, uh, um, just like I am now.
Mhm.
My life now are my kids and my golf buddies, and that's what my life is. I've seen people in Hollywood. It's funny, the most talented ones that I've met and I've worked with, Paul Newman and these guys, they're always the most sincere ones. Then you'll meet some guy who was just on some TV series that went for 2 years and they're total assholes.
Yeah.
So the great ones are the most sincere, are the nicest.
Did anybody ever give you like any tips or try and help you out along the way?
Yeah, we were shooting a scene in the Tower Inferno, and it was a scene where we found the fire, right? And I'm head of security, and Paul Newman and I, his buddy got a little burned up from opening the door, so we're looking at him, and I'm giving orders, you do this, and I tell him, go call the police. Go call the fire, call it in. And we shoot the scene, and it's just not quite working. Then we shoot it again, and it's just not quite working. So while they're kind of resetting up, he pulls me aside. He says, look, I'm an architect. You're the head of security. You know this stuff.
Mm.
Don't ask me to make the call. Tell me to make the call. If you have to yell at me, damn it, man, make the damn call, right? He says, you don't play your billing. You play your character.
Yeah.
And I, at the time, thought that was the best advice I ever got, because I was playing him as Paul Newman.
Yeah.
I'm not going to yell at Paul Newman.
Hell no. What was your goal with all the acting stuff? Like, where did you want to get to?
The acting thing just happened. I never thought about being an actor. It just started happening. And then I got a chance to start producing a few MOWs and specials. And I love the whole Hollywood thing. I got to admit, I love it's a team collaborative effort. I love working to make something. When we did I did 3 or 4 MOWs, movies a week. So one of them I helped write it, and you cast. You get the cast, you figure out who's going to play this role, who's going to play that role. You all work together, then you see that finished product. I like that. It's a team thing, and I've always liked team stuff.
Got it.
Do you have any like regrets about anything, like in your life? Anything?
Yeah, I regret that I was unfaithful to both my wives. But it is what it is. You know, I wish, looking back, that I could be one of these guys that would say that he never was unfaithful.
It seems like in the circle you were in, that was pretty common, though.
Well, that's life.
Yeah.
I got to admit, it's. I don't know how. In Hollywood, you do a movie, you're on a set, you're out of town, you're in the Bahamas, or you're in the Curacao, and I was in South Africa, for instance, and I'm with this partially supermodel, and we boom, 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 and bam, 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 and you know,
Did it almost feel like it was?
just happens.
Did it feel like it was like too easy for you?
It was easy. It was easy, you know. But not that you were looking at it as being easy. It's. I wasn't. I've never been the. I've never been the guy that just chased girls.
Mhm.
I always kind of had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like, hey, let's go out and chase girls. All my friends call me bait. Come on, Juice, we're gonna go trolling with you. You're the bait.
Who was like the biggest like womanizer out of all your or in your crew?
I'm not. I can't go there.
Yeah.
I can't go there.
Would you say you're like a religious person now, or not really?
I've always been a Christian. I've never been overly. I was raised a Christian. I am a Christian. I like when I see that in people. You notice when we're talking about the Kardashians, I said they were raised Christian girls, and I've seen nothing to say that that's changed whenever I see them or whenever I hear about what they're doing. You know.
No, I was gonna say, obviously, with like your story and only you really know the truth. When you die, are you like in any way scared to face God?
Nope. I look forward to it. Yeah. As I said, I know where my weaknesses were. As I said, I regret being unfaithful. You know, I think I made up. Hopefully, I made up for it in my other deeds. But we'll see.
Yeah, because I meant like obviously there's so many rumors, whatever, but only you really know the truth. So I guess
No, I'm not the only one that knows the truth. There's others that know the truth. Yeah.
people like what? Like who?
Who did it?
People know?
No, I don't know if people know, but somebody knows.
Do you have any way to like respond to that? Like if you had to answer who did it?
No, I'm not even going to talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm not going there.
Is that something that you put in the past or?
Well, you have to. You know, my mother saw me be mean to some people after my LA trial. And she just read me the riot act. And she said, OJ, son, you Orenthal is what you call me. You can't be that. You can't let what's happened change who you are. You're trying to raise those two kids, and they're going to emulate you. If they see you act this way, that's how they're going to respond. So for the kids' sake, if nothing else, you got to let it go.
Mm-hmm.
And I've let it go. It's gone.
Got it.
Has it been like tough to deal with that, like mentally? Like
No, nothing. At this point, I'm a happy guy. My kids are happy. I'm happy. That's the way it is.
Have you ever watched like any of this stuff? Like
No, I watched none of it.
Never will.
None of it.
Got it.
Never seen any of it.
not the FX show, nothing.
No. Not even though a few people say, "Oh, but that one show, the ESPN, it was pretty good for it." Nothing.
Does that any
Don't want
part?
to know nothing about it. Don't want to
Yeah.
watch it. All it's going to do is piss me off, and so I don't go there.
Yeah. The only question I have is, does any part of you ever want to like feel like I gotta tell my side of that shit?
My side is been told. I mean, for the most part, my lawyers, and it's nobody. The one thing I do know is nothing that I do and nothing that anybody does is going to change anybody's mind.
Mm-hmm.
One way or the other. It's not going to change their mind. So it's a waste of time. Back then I went on various shows with Katie Couric, with I forget the lady that was on Court TV. And I never said, hey, show me the questions. I'm open to you. I went to Oxford, which was one of the great experiences of my life, to speak to the debate team at Oxford. And hey, I didn't say show me questions before. I answered all the questions and everything. In that particular trip, I think it changed minds. But in general, you don't change anybody's mind. People are going to feel the way they feel, and there's nothing you can do about it. And as I said, that's, c'est la vie. That's life.
Yeah.
So has anyone ever asked you like who you thought did it?
I'm not going to talk about this. Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
All right. You got anything?
No, I don't think so.
OJ was
Nice
fucking.
try, though.
He tried. Can I ask you one thing though?
What's that?
I don't know if you're gonna answer this, but how much have you spent on lawyer fees? You think to date?
Oh, geez, a fortune, just a flat out fortune.
Over
Yeah.
under $3 million.
Over, yeah,
Fuck.
yeah. Lawyers are not cheap.
No.
Yeah.
What? So let's say starting fresh. What's your plan now? How do you plan to like take care of your family, and what's your goals?
Well, my kids are doing well, so hell, they taking care of me. No, my kids, and they do well. I love having dinner with them. Lately, I've moved near my youngest son and my granddaughter, so I get to see them virtually every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm totally loving. So they're happy. As my mother said, hey, the kids are happy, you're happy. I don't know if you have
100%.
kids,
No, not yet.
but you will reach a point where you'll know if your kids are happy, you're happy.
100%.
And that's where I'm at right now. I love my kids. They respect and love me. As I said, I have no idea how Herschel
Did you just dive in on that? The Herschel Walker stuff?
Well, look, Herschel's a fellow Heisman Trophy winner, so I don't want to dog him too bad. I don't have to dog him. You've seen him on TV. You see what he has said. He's just, you are, if you're not qualified to do, it scares me to see some of the people who are in politics now.
Mm-hmm.
People who are totally not qualified to be in politics. And it seems like the crazier things that you say, the more people are going to support you in saying it. Now, Herschel, look, I don't think Herschel really wanted to run for office. I think that Donald got him to run. But,
Sure.
But, do you think he's qualified?
Probably not. I don't know.
So
Well, it seems like
I
I
don't know.
It seems like these days anyone's qualified, right?
There you go. I guess so. Well, what hurts is like when you say you were valedictorian and you what? When you said you finished number in the top 1% of your class and you didn't even graduate. Come on, man. That's not what we want from our politicians.
If you could make one change right now with the country, what would you do?
Jesus. Help me, guys. To me, I don't care what you think about Donald when he was the president. I don't care what you think about Biden when he's the president. Whoever's the president was voted that by the people of America, of the United States. So disagree with him, great. But you got to respect the office. You got to respect the office of the presidency. So you can say, I disagree with this and I disagree with that. But you should not be calling that person a butthole that's what I think I change anything. The way people refer to our leaders. Because if you call, when Trump won, if you call him whatever, you're actually calling millions of Americans who voted for him that.
Yeah.
If you call Biden that now, you're actually calling millions of Americans who voted for him. That's what you're calling them.
Yeah.
So I think I would push for a little
More of a
more
support.
respect. A little more respect.
Got it.
You could totally disagree. But you don't have to disrespect. What was her name? The Supreme Court Justice that just died.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong guy. I have no idea.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
What's her name? The Supreme
Ginsburg?
Court. Ginsburg. That I think it was her that said, you can disagree without being disagreeable,
Yeah.
you know? And I guess that's what I'm saying.
Got it.
Yeah.
Any other things? Any last things you want to talk about?
Buffalo Bills, go Bills.
You're still a Bills fan?
Go Niners. Yeah, I go back to a couple of the games, you know. Never better fans you'll ever meet anywhere, you know. I'm a Niner fan because I grew up in San Francisco, a Niner fan. But the Bills fans are the best there is. I mean, there were games, you saw that 6 feet of snow. There were games we had where I couldn't see the stand.
So much snow.
But I could hear. you know, they had periods of this, you know, snow go on that, damn, I can't see the stands.
Mhm.
And yet they were there.
What do you think about the justice system in America today?
I think there's, I think it's the lack of respect that people who are in the justice system gives the justice system that bothers me. Yeah. If you're in the justice system, you got to respect the justice system. I mean, you hear these lawyers now, they'll say some crap like, he wasn't not guilty. He wasn't found he wasn't found guilty, but he wasn't found not guilty or whatever. I don't know. I heard these lawyers say this crap. And wait a minute, you're innocent until proven guilty.
Mhm.
That's the law.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah.
So all this crap talk about, well, he wasn't found not guilty. You know, he was just not found guilty. Come on, give me a break. You know, but it seems like many people in the legal system are the ones that disrespect the legal system the most. You know?
Yeah.
And I just hate hearing, I remember doing, I was at the Bel Air Country Club doing the Rodney King thing. And I'm there looking at the city, looking at all these smokestacks. The city's on fire, right?
Yeah.
And I'm listening to these guys talk, these older white guys. And they're saying, well, why don't they respect the system? The system spoke. And now they're acting like this. They're burning up the city. A jury spoke. you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I kind of wish I could hear those same guys when my verdict came. You know, it'd been interesting to hear that same group of guys, right? But hey, that's where it goes.
Are you upset that the killer of Ron and Nicole was never found?
Right now, I'm not going to discuss any of that. All right? Yeah, I think that's a pretty obvious question, but I'm not getting in that. I'm not going there. Yeah.
Okay.
You don't think that they're still out there?
I'm not going there. Right?
All right. All good.
Yeah.
I think we're good, right?
We're good. Yeah.
Yeah.
OJ, thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Thank you guys, man.
Thank you.
The only reason he came, they told us 10 times, do not ask anything about the trial. And usually if someone does that, we're like, yeah, we won't ask it. Like, we're always like respectful. It was
not
pretty
gonna lie.
intimidating. I don't know if he had anything in his pockets. We were set up over there and I was like, yo, I'm way too close to him, straight up.
That's the kind of guy I am. Is like I would have taken a stabbing or a shot to get that question out for the company. So shout out, full send. No, I'm not gonna lie. I was gonna ask some shit and then I got scared because it's intimidating, bro. Like, yo, bro, did you commit this murder or not? You know, like it's hard to ask that. How'd you feel asking that?
It was pretty nervous, but I just felt bad because we did tell the one guy that we weren't gonna ask it. But
Nah, fuck it. That's why you're here, bro.
it was the first time we fucking broken whatever journalistic integrity we have or anything.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It was a good interview either way. You should watch the whole fucking thing because it is pretty
At the
interesting.
end of the day, no one else is getting OJ right now, so you got to do what you got to do to get him on. And I was pretty insane that how the fuck did we get OJ Simpson, bro?
First podcast or show he's done since he got out from his 9 years in fucking jail. First time.
Yeah, I don't know how.
You know,
I mean, yeah.
The biggest mystery, there's two mysteries, but the biggest one is, are you Khloe Kardashian's dad? I've moved on from the other thing.
No, he said it was a chef. He said there's a rumor about a chef.
If she's sleeping with a chef, that means me and you have a chance, straight up.
I don't think so.